We have an announcement to make before we get into this week's episode. If you head over to relativedimension.com/giveaway, you will see the details on what we are giving away for our launch session of our new Deadlands Classic actual play. There is also information on how to enter to win those things. That launch session will be October 21st at 5 p.m. Pacific Time. And now on to the episode. You're listening to Artificium Occulte Venatores, a Shadowrun actual play podcast by Relative Dimension.
And I'll mention which one. The guy that the guide told us, or the other guy told us about.
Okay. Oh yes, I know that museum. He leads you there. It's about a 10-minute walk away down one of the main streets. On the main street, there are a lot of, again, restaurants and stuff that seem to be made for the tourists. Like, there's even a McHugh's here.
Of course there is.
You know, any fast food that you may find in Italy, there's a representation of it here as well.
Nice.
So they got a taco temple.
Yes, they do have a taco temple too.
Everywhere's got a taco temple. Oh, we just had lunch. Damn it.
Yeah, sorry. I'm there another time.
The museum is a very old-looking building. The outside, there are columns that kind of lead up to it. It is very reminiscent of Roman architecture. And he parks his Segway, and this one he goes in with you.
All right, cool. I guess Leon likes museums.
When he goes in, he talks to the receptionist in French, and they seem to have an exchange that seems favorable. And then he turns and says, "It's okay. I know the owner. We can come in free of charge."
Oh.
I like the kid.
Yeah, cool. We'll go in.
And it is a small local museum. There is, based on the signs and the maps in the area, a few locations that do have some more, further away African history, but most of it does seem to be in this particular area. There's a animal display on some of the creatures that they found and fossils that they found in the area and what lived here thousands of years ago, stuff like that. Early man life and evidence of tools that they found here. And one of them is more of the city itself, so that there are maps of the city as they've had representation. They have maps going back to the 18 and 1700s, hand-drawn things. A lot of paintings and photographs of the amphitheater as it existed since they've been able to take photographs, and it looks much like it does now.
Okay.
So what are you looking for here?
Oh, go on.
First, we'll look at the old maps and stuff of the area. Maybe get a good picture of that, and we'll study. I'll see if there's. I don't know, like how old these maps show, like just the time of when the amphitheater was built, or something like that. Is that basically what the maps are for?
I'd like to compare a or
The maps show the town as it has existed for the past 200-300 years.
Okay.
So if you go back 50 years, the town is smaller and more scattered. But even the maps that they have dating from the 1800s, the amphitheater is still where it was. Some of the local buildings are different. There's not as much as close to it, except some of those buildings that were like for the people that may have worked or lived near the amphitheater when it was functioning. There are several buildings that are labeled on the maps as being historic buildings, and some of them are scattered around. A few of them are near the forum, but the oldest map still shows the forum. They have renditions of what they believe it looked like before the forums were built, but they are guesses at best. A lot of it is speculation based on the contours of the land, on what they may have farmed at the time, and you have drawings, not dramatizations, but just artist renditions of what they think how this hill over here where this is now may have once had a big olive grove, or the water may have one time come up and around here, and stuff like that. Does anybody have an analytical mind quality?
Elle does.
Oh, nice.
Which quality?
Analytical mind. Let me look at L's skills real quick and see what might work here.
I do not.
No, I just have closest I have to any of this stuff would be college education or my knowledge history.
L, give me you can choose either a historical cartography roll or ancient artifacts objects roll, and you may add the bonus from analytical mind.
What's the bonus again? Hold on, let me look it up.
I think it's just a +2.
Yeah, +2.
So it should be...
Let me know which of those skills you're using, because they'll have slightly different results.
So what are the choices again?
Historical cartography or ancient objects.
I'll take the cartography.
Okay.
Hey, not too shabby.
How many?
4 successes.
4. From the maps and the old, you make out the fact that there are places where the contour of the land is such that flooding would most likely not penetrate into certain areas of the city. You could have it localized on the outer north and eastern sides if it ever flooded this far in, which there's no recent evidence that anybody's aware of flooding this far in, but historically it may have. Some of the 1800s representations of the buildings that are now historical, that are still present, some of them seem to line up in a way that if there were underground connections, it would make sense. There's a lot of straight lines that you get between some of these, to where if somebody had to dig a tunnel, it would be a lot easier to dig tunnels in straight lines rather than winding throughout. So some of the layout of the city's historic buildings may support underground connections.
Is it possible to... what would I need in order to get... What information would I need to get now so that away from this place I could find out from like comparing it to other maps, the possible connections that might be hidden or concealed, or that we might find useful? Like, do I just take some pictures with my comm link, or what?
That, or you can buy some of the maps they have for sale.
I probably would take that route. I would probably, because I find that sort of thing interesting anyway. So yeah.
Okay. Anybody else?
No. Looking at all the, just kind of going through all the artifacts, would I maybe notice something that might be off? I don't know, like mislabeled, something that's older than it really than what is labeled, or anything like that. I have archaeology. I can roll on it. Or is that not going to work?
No, that can work. Roll archaeology as a teamwork test that you then can roll those hits as bonus dice to a visual perception.
To a what?
Visual perception.
Oh, wait, hold on.
So roll archaeology first.
I'm losing my mind. I don't have archaeology. I have ancient artifacts and ancient history. My bad. Wrong. My brain is not working. Duh.
Okay,
Wrong character.
You can roll ancient artifacts, you said?
Yes.
You can do that then, and use those hits as a bonus on a perception.
Okay, so 2. And 2. Boy, that was useful. Okay.
With 2, there's a couple things on display that the style is not exact to the region, but it's close enough that it could be.
Okay. I'll take shots of them for the moment and leave it be. If I just get a feel for that, and I have to be right back. I'll be back in a couple minutes.
Okay. And then presumably the museum trip is over.
I assume so.
Leon has been over basically in the ancient weapons section. He just has one of those looks of wonder looking at the ancient swords and armor and stuff that they've found and put on display, and he seems fascinated with that type of history here in the museum. But when he notices everybody finishing up, getting antsy, he kind of comes over.
You like knives, kid?
Oh yes, and swords and things that just aren't used much today.
I can teach you how to use one. I mean, I'm better with the shorter knives, but...
Oh no, I couldn't. I really?
I'm sure we'll have time. Why not?
But I do not have a knife.
I got a few extras, don't worry.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, they come in handy.
It looks like you are done. Would you like to go for dinner? Although you had lunch recently. Perhaps there are clubs you would like to visit?
She kind of looks to the others and she's kind of like, I don't think so.
If you would like to be going to your home, I can take you there and meet you tomorrow.
Sure.
He leads you back through town. On the way, he kind of goes a few streets over and points to a series of houses. I live there. If you need me when I am not around, you can find me there. Or they will know how to find me.
Sounds good.
In the morning, if you are ready to go out before I am around, you can come here first. And then he finishes taking you back to your home. I hope your day was enjoyable. Have a good evening. And with that, he departs.
Marigold just kind of sprawls on one of the cots and's like, this was useless. I'm pretty sure I actually fell asleep standing up a couple times.
Well, actually, it wasn't really useless. The thing of it is it appears that there's very little knowledge out there about this artifact in the first place, so that's a good thing. Means it's harder to find, which means better caliber of investigators, so to speak, or archaeologists in the case of this being a very old artifact.
Sure, I guess. So what's the plan?
Well, we didn't really get any clues out of this.
Like I said, useless.
Okay, the amphitheater and the forum is one of the oldest, two of the oldest buildings in the entire city. They've never moved.
The same building. They just refer to it as different names.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I misunderstood. I thought the forum was like an attachment to the amphitheater. But my point is they've never moved. They're a point of reference. Or they are the point. It's dependent on how they want to use it, I guess would be a better term. So
Didn't Stuffy Shirt say there used to be entrances that led under the city?
They suspect that there are, yes.
That was Marigold in character.
Yeah, I'm reminding if anybody forgot. When you guys got
Yeah.
your briefing, he said that they suspected that at one point there were entrances under the forums leading further down.
I could see if I could find some tonight.
well, if the amphitheater is... did they actually say how old the amphitheater actually is? I mean, did they carbon date it? Because written
They
history...
said that it was built in... I had a date here. Around 238 AD.
238 AD. And which civilization built it?
The Romans.
Then yes, there are underground passages under that thing.
Yeah, but the question is whether or not they're still functional.
Well, we have tools, but earth elementals and whatnot might be able to help us too. The question is to find out likely places to start looking.
Underneath the forum.
Yeah, but pick a spot and let's go at it. I mean, unless we can narrow it down.
That's what I was saying. I could go out and see if I can't find entrances. That if they ain't caved in, then we might get to do some poking around without setting off, without being noticed.
Well, the other option, there are probably, if there are some sort of entrances to these things, I'm assuming, or at least, partial entrances that maybe not fully explored, there's probably some sort of underworld group right here that probably knows about them. That kind of thing doesn't just go unnoticed by that kind of group.
No, I mean, look, I got this map, and we got we can find some more public sources of information. We just need to correlate it with targets so that we can find possible access points, even if they are caved in.
Well, okay, the kid did mention there were other ruins, so we could check those out and see if there is an access point in one of them.
No, I don't think you understand. I mean, I can figure out like possible tunnels and things, probably. What I need is the target point. I need the spot we're trying to get to.
That's why I want to look for tunnels that aren't collapsed so that we can get in and get hands on the ground instead of just looking for rumors.
So you just... But, okay, we haven't found this... Wait, do we know of any tunnels?
That's why I was going to go out tonight and look. See if I can't find any.
Oh, okay.
That's what I was saying.
So how about this? You go out, find it. We'll hold to our end of it and go to one of the shows or matches or whatever. You go out and look around and see what you can find, and then we'll see what happens after that. See? Look.
Good to me.
All right. So we're going to go to a match. She's going to go look around, find out what she finds, and then we're hopefully can hit it tomorrow, whatever it is that she finds.
Solomon, can you do me a favor?
Takes a moment, and then a voice crackles from your comlink. What kind of favor?
Well, one of them should be pretty easy considering what it is we have access to. The other one may take you a little bit longer, so I'd like you to work on the first one first, and then begin work on the second one. First one first is take the Colosseum from Rome and give me a 3D layout of it, including the underground tunnels, and then I would like another 3D overlay of the amphitheater here. I mean, we've been walking around it all friggin' day. You should have plenty of data for that to build a 3D model of that, and render the two over each other, and then shrink I'm sure the Colosseum is much bigger, but shrink the Colosseum down to match the size of the amphitheater. And then the second thing is look into we became aware of this problem about a month ago, or this issue a month ago. Can you look in the past month if there have been any historical societies, restorationists, or even just general builders who wish to remodel some aspect of this town and have asked for permits?
You mean besides the one we already know about?
Yes.
Okay, just checking.
Did that make sense?
Does anybody have a trit projector?
I have AR specs.
I don't know if that actually counts.
Let me see.
I've got a hollow bracelet,
No, I think that's for...
but that's as close as I get. I mean, it's a Tritio holographic projector.
And I'm sure actually we're in a house. I'm sure it has some type of projection device for TV.
If not, we can ask Leon to go get us one. We'll give him the money. Go get us a trit projector. Assuming they have one in town. They might.
Through AR, you can see it, but it's not something that can be displayed to everybody that way. He does bring up a rendition of the Colosseum, and let me see if there is an exact scale.
Well, the only reason I use the Colosseum as an example is one, it's in Rome, and two, it's been examined backwards, forwards, upside down, inside out, and re-rendered 400,000 times over the, between probably 1980 to now.
He brings up a 3D rendition of the Colosseum. The size difference, the amphitheater at El Gem is probably say 3/4 the size. I don't have an exact measurements, but the Colosseum held 50 to 80,000. This one holds 35,000, so that's probably a good shrinkage there. On the Roman Colosseum, underneath, it start to show tunnels that they found, where they lead, the things like that. Everything is highlighted in a blue, transparent blue. After all of that starts turning up, he starts in transparent red. Other tunnels begin to pop up.
All right, so is this something I could manipulate possibly? Like the main entrance, for example, is the main entrance to the amphitheater, if I may be trying to think too much into this, is there, what am I thinking of? The amphitheater is the main entrance pointed towards Rome, since Rome was the center of society as far as the Romans were concerned. Or was it pointed in a particular direction since so-and-so was a big believer of this god or something like that? Basically, I'm just trying to line up where the main entrance of the Colosseum is and where the main entrance of the amphitheater is. Maybe I'll just simplify it and do that, and that should give us a good idea or perspective as to where potential tunnels could be, and then I just render it up, and we're looking at like Google Earth, and where those entrances are should correspond pretty closely to the surrounding city.
Oh, I see what you're trying to do. Okay.
I'm trying to give Marigold a better chance of finding these entrances.
Okay,
Yeah.
So on the display, you can see the amphitheater, right? Are you guys on the right page? Yes, you are. So where the like the courtyard was, where they led you in, was here. If there's a main entrance, it's probably along this line here, right? And the yellow line indicates the direction of Rome and where the Colosseum would be.
Right.
So it doesn't seem to line up as though it's pointing the way.
But it seems to be pointed more in maybe a northeast or a east-west direction.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, that makes some sense. Because what I can remember about the Colosseum and other things is that under the ground is like where that little blue line's going through. There's a trench right there, and that was designed because the amphitheater was not just a gladiatorial arena or a racetrack or anything like that. It was also used for general theater, and there were places to raise dioceses and stuff of that nature, props, terrain, things of that nature, so that the play could go on, type thing. It's sort of like a really big stage with a understage, and that was also sometimes how gladiators were led into the arena and stuff of that nature. So as I was saying, the potential tunnel entrances into the Colosseum wouldn't be all that far off because of the fact that it wouldn't be the smartest idea of building a tunnel that went out 14 miles or something like that.
Okay, so basically gives Marigold some options as to possible locations. Okay, let's see. Look at that.
There's a side-by-side comparison with north being up-oriented.
Yeah, if I'm looking at that right, it also has almost the southeasterly direction.
Yeah,
from the main
it's
entrance
almost the same
east-west.
axial tilt, almost.
And I'm just saying the Romans weren't all that big. I mean, yeah, they created the wheel or recreated the wheel, whatever you want to call it, but they weren't big on all-terrain plans that they knew worked.
Right. So there's a good chance that at least if the building is similar in build, the tunnels might also be. Okay. So yeah. So Marigold, you
Also,
have some ideas.
Also, the other thing that I didn't do while we were out and about, because I didn't want to draw too much attention, was I didn't try to cast Detect Magic that whole time.
But with the 3D representation of the Colosseum, Once everything is in place, you start to get a voice, and Solomon's icon persona appears in AR, and he's pointing to the fact that, this is the entrances, and this is the orientation, and these are the tunnels underneath that we know of, or that the public knows of, and these ones in red are the ones that the Vatican knows of that the public is, to the best of our knowledge, still unaware of. And there seems to be a lot more of those tunnels that are kind of stretch out distances before ending.
Well, Rome was a much bigger place and whatnot, and I actually kind of understood why Rome would have bigger tunnels, but I wasn't sure if they would use the same concept here. But anyways, it gives her a good idea and whatnot, and that's all I was going for there.
And one of those tunnels that stretches out, he kind of extends the view, and the map shrinks briefly, and it leads mostly west, slightly north, and links up to the Vatican.
Right. But the Vatican wasn't always the Vatican. And I'm not saying that to be blasphemous. I'm saying that because that was just what it was before. I can't remember.
All right. Well, at this point, we're overthinking it too much. So let's stick with what we got. And you've given her some stuff, and let's move on.
Pictures start coming up of the amphitheater here, and they begin to overlap into a rough rendition of a complete 3D shape. And then the sizes alter until they are the same, and they kind of shift and rotate until they are the same orientation, just in case that helps. And you have possible directions of where tunnels may be if they were identical to the Colosseum.
See, we have a start.
Of course, it's unknown. The tunnels may be the same and the orientation may be different, but...
Right. It's better than just wandering around town, though, so it's something. If it doesn't pan out, it doesn't pan out. But it was worth a shot. All right, so let's go back to the house, prepare for whatever matches. I'll check and see... that you said there was a schedule of matches available or something like that?
Yes.
So we'll see what is conveniently in the area available at the moment, over the next day or whatever. Is there one conveniently available that we can go watch?
A match tonight. If you wish to drive out to the area on short notice, you can to try to get in, or there are several bars in the area that do displays.
Oh yeah, we can just go to a local bar and watch it, or do you want to watch it live? What do you guys want to do?
I was just reminded that the Colosseum could also be flooded for sea battle.
Fun.
So do you guys wish to drive a few kilometers out of town to one of the Desert Wars arenas, or go to a bar?
I'd rather stay in and work with these maps.
Okay. All right, you do that.
If you want to do the bar, I'll come along with you.
All right, we'll go. Me and you go to the bar. You're gonna work on the maps, and she's gonna explore. We're good.
All right.
I send a private message to Solomon telling him to keep track of Marigold just in case we accidentally misplace her again.
Bitch.
So Marigold, a familiar-looking Shedem kind of no.
Son of a gun, they found it.
Marigold, make me a visual perception.
Oh, why you gotta start off with a perception?
Asura, make me a visual perception.
Oh wow. Look at that. 5.
Holy fuck.
I know, look at that. We're on point now.
You had what, 8? And I had 9 dice.
Nice.
That's great.
And Marigold, you get a bonus point of edge.
Neat. I think I'm full up on edge, actually.
Well, this one you can use tonight.
Table edge for tonight. Yay.
With 5s on both of you guys. That was kind of what you needed. Sweet. There is, as you're exploring, and as the other two are heading towards the bar, very good people at blending into the shadows, following you guys. I mean, it's one of those things where you notice them and You don't get any of the signs that they're following you. They actually have legitimate business that they're doing. Somebody is like mid-transaction when you actually notice them. But as you go about,
But you
you
keep
do
noticing
catch
them.
minor, yeah.
Is it like different people, or is it like the same
Well-
person? Is that why we catch them?
It's the same person.
Okay.
But not the same person following both of you.
Right.
Mm.
That would be much weirder.
And they are maintaining a respectable distance. They're not like so close that they could jump out and ambush you as you turn a corner type of thing, but they are not so far away that it would be easy to lose them.
Don't suppose, like, God, who would even know we're here, though? I'm just wondering if there's anything about them that, maybe I could tell and piece together who they are. Why the fuck they're following me? Is it just because I'm,
Because you're cool.
No, more like just because, they pegged us as, unfamiliar with the area earlier, just walking out about the street. This could be similar. Is it that, or have they actually targeted us, or me, I suppose?
The clothing is very stylistic for the area, so there's nothing really that stands out about the clothing. The appearance, there's nothing that seems very distinctive about the style. Almost as though you've seen a person that looks like or dressed like this almost everywhere you've been today, to the point that it's normal.
Alright.
There's very, the fact that it's the same person always there, about roughly the same distance away.
Okay. Marigold's plan at this point. What I'm going to try and do is to, best way I could put it, lose him, and basically double back around and try to catch him somewhere not near people.
Okay. To lose him, do you have stealth?
Yes. Yes, I do.
So roll a stealth,
Give
and
me a
I
moment.
get a bonus
Trying to
teamwork
figure
die
out
thanks
who-
to Jim Palmer.
Okay, so the plan is to not be seen, and she was going out to, So I imagine she'd be wearing her sleeping tiger for this, because it's got that handy dandy ruthenium polymer coating. Just so that you're aware.
Are you going to use that extra bonus point of edge you have?
We'll see. Does this count as an urban area?
Yes.
Okay. I wasn't sure. It's kind of a little backwoods.
Yeah,
so-
it is kind of backwoods, but it's more urban than anything else.
Okay, so it's still technically urban. Okay, so just for the hell of it, I have that table edge. I'm gonna pre-edge just because I can.
Okay.
And I'll take that 10 hits.
Nice.
What is the rating of your...
It's RPC 3. It's just the standard on the, what did I just literally say? The Sleeping Tiger. Yeah.
And is this a full suit? Half suit?
I'm pretty sure the Sleeping Tiger would be full. I don't have, the coat on currently to cover any of the actual suit itself, because the coat doesn't have ruthenium polymer coating. She's not wearing her cloak, because that would also... You kind of defeat the purpose and, all that, so...
Yes. Okay, so you turn a corner, and you're going to try to sneak back on him.
Mm-hmm.
So now you give me a perception check.
I don't know if I could pull out 5 hits again. How about 4? Ask me if I'm happy with that level of success. I will edge it.
Are you happy with that level of success?
I got 4 edge. You know what? Wait. I think I'm actually going to push the limit on that one. For hitting my normal limit anyway. 5 hits. Oh well.
So one more puts it to 5?
Yeah, total of 5.
All right. So as you sneak around the corner and come back to where you think he is, you realize that you would have passed him by. He blends in that well. Putting it to 5 tied it, and thus you manage to see where he is. He is standing a bit further down, closer to where you lost him at, but a bit beyond that, say, alley you turned down. And he is standing very still, kind of looking down the alley you came down. You know, as though he's still thinking you went down there and trying to spot you, and he doesn't realize that you came by.
Perfect. So, actually, just, does this guy look like your normal, like, run-of-the-mill, like, cut purse? Or, like, maybe, I don't know, somebody more on par with Marigold's skill? You know, she was a Shadowrunner, for reference. And is he actually alone? Like, that's weird.
He is alone, or at least as far as you can tell, he is alone. He is wearing, like I said, his clothing blends in with what everybody else is wearing, but now that you've gotten a little bit closer to him without him noticing, his clothing also seems to have RPC on it, so slight shadows blend a little better than they would if they were just normal clothing.
Right. Alright. So, I mean,
he
RPC...
is not obviously armed. He doesn't have like an assault rifle hanging off his back or anything.
Okay. Well, I mean, neither does Marigold, so... Alright, so... Actually, the RPC alone is actually not that easy to get, so this guy's got some... Alright, so we're not gonna exactly go easy. Basically, she's going to sneak up on the guy, hopefully scare the shit out of him, put him off guard, and she's gonna try to get answers. You know, kind of sneak up until she's probably closer than he's comfortable with. And just a very quiet, calm, why are you following me?
He, when you say that, startles slightly, but he does not look up at you. Instead, he keeps looking down the alley, following you. Wait, what language did you say that in?
English, probably, because I haven't heard any of the others spoken here yet. So yeah, it would be English. Wait, I suppose she could slot the rating 1 of the language, couldn't she?
Roll me your edge dice.
Okay. A hit?
Okay, yeah. He startles slightly. Doesn't look up at you. Following you? I think you are mistaken. I am looking for my cat.
And so that's why I've seen you half a dozen times tonight.
He does look at you at that point.
She kind of raises an eyebrow, arms crossed, just kind of waiting for an answer.
Half a dozen.
Something like that. You're
Perhaps
good, I'll give you that. Now why are you following me?
Curiosity.
Curiosity gets you that coating on your armor as well? Or clothing as well?
Oh no, much money got me that.
Remember, if RPC's illegal or it's just restricted.
I haven't seen you around before, and suddenly I did, and I wished to know more.
You know, most people, when they're looking to... RPC's actually forbidden. That's a thing. Okay. Anyway, sorry. You know, most people, when they're looking to get to know a girl better, they offer to buy her a drink or something like that.
Well, let's just say I wish to know if I wish to know you better.
So who are you working with?
Would you like to go out for a drink?
Who are you working with?
Nobody you would know.
Humor me.
Alright, hold on. Straregar.
Alright, you got me there.
He shrugs.
Alright. So actually, you might be able to help me. I heard that there might be entrances to the city that was here before, Legem. And there might be ways down under the city, the current city, whatever.
He seems to be listening intently. You wish to go under the city.
I do.
There are no places to get drinks under the city.
Tell you what, help me out with this, and I'll give you my comm. And if you're ever in the Vatican City, give me a call.
Give me a perception check. Visual.
See, I can't keep up with these good perception checks all night. 4, but I'm not doing bad. God, I need to invest more in perception.
Why is it red? That's not a glitch. That's not enough ones for a glitch.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter the percentage on Roll20 for glitches for it to be red. I think it's more 1s than 6s. It's red. I don't know.
You caught a very quick and subtle raising of the eyebrow when you mentioned the Vatican.
I mean, just because she's in the Vatican City doesn't mean she's part of the church.
I know a few places, perhaps, that may be what you are looking for. Follow me. And he turns his back to you and starts walking away.
All right. Yeah, no, she'll follow.
All right. So Asura and Adranus. Asura, mark down that you have a bonus teamwork die.
Woot. Well, this case, so we're being followed. I know this, right?
Yes, you do.
Let's see how far this guy will go. Let's go to the bar. We weren't going to do anything important anyway, so he can follow us all he wants. But what I will do is be touristy and see if I can't get an accidental shot of him. Actually, I could just take a picture of him with the thing anyways, can't I? And send it to Solomon, see if he can find anything on who this guy is.
How are you taking the picture?
What do I have? I got some. My brain isn't working. Let's see. What do I have, actually?
Thanks for hanging out, James. Have a good night.
I guess I just have to use the comlink, wouldn't I? Yeah, it's with the comlink. Does that mean I have to hold it out like a camera?
Yes.
All right. So I will.
What are you taking a picture of?
Things.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'll get out and take a few photos of touristy stuff and glance over to about where he is at and just take a shot of one where he's in it, kind of thing, since he's doing his own shopping or whatever he's pretending to do, right? And I'll continue past him, so it's not like I take a picture of him and put it away. No, I'll just take a couple pictures, get one of him, take more pictures, and then I'll put it away and finish heading to the bar. I'll probably take some more on the way, just so I look touristy.
Okay.
But I will send that one to Solomon.
Give me a stealth roll.
It's a stealth? Of course it has to be. Can't it be con, making myself look like I'm actually doing stuff?
So to try to get one of him accidentally type of thing would be a stealth.
Oh. Okay. So I don't need the con, is that what you said?
Right.
Okay. Stealth. They're sneaking. Okay. Oh, you said I had... no, the other one's a teamwork die, right?
Yes, you can add it to your roll as if somebody helped you with teamwork.
Yeah. Sure. It's one?
Yes. I think you might have another one that you've never used either. I don't know.
Oh, wait. I did have that other one. Okay. Mental note. 3 successes.
Okay. So you get some photographs around. You're being touristy. You get to the bar. He does seem to stick with you the entire time.
Okay. I mean, at this point, it's not a huge deal. At this point, I will be the obnoxious fan that I said I was going to be.
While you're in the bar, you don't notice him.
Okay.
So either he blends in very good or he doesn't come in.
Interesting.
But at this particular bar, there are people watching large displays of some of the Desert Wars matches. There is gambling going on. It looks like there is a window on the side where there's an employee of the bar itself who might have a satellite link to a casino somewhere, maybe.
Are they betting?
Yes, people are betting. There's a whole line of things written like in chalk up on a board that seem to have odds next to them. A lot of them are crossed out. It looks like propositional bets, certain things that have already happened, therefore the bets are no longer active on them, things like that.
Okay.
Whether a popular player is going to make it or how long he's going to survive in the match tonight, type of things, stuff like that.
Gotcha. Anybody from my team playing tonight?
Yes.
Ooh, I get somebody to root for. I'm going to be super obnoxious during that time period.
The group that you are favoring is currently in a match that has been going on for 3 days.
I might throw a tiny bet down.
I'm going to roll a D100, and if it's higher, your team is doing better at the moment. Yeah, your team is doing well at the moment.
Oh, of course they are. That's okay.
They currently have more remaining team members in play. than the other team does, and they have a more advantageous position at the moment.
Yeah. So, if that is the case, I will. If there's anything to bet on based on my team, I might place a small bet just for fun, to be the excited fan.
Is it a bet on generally who wins, or one of the ones that could happen at any time, like such and such takes a wound to the knee or whatever?
I'm guessing those are better payouts. We'll stick with the win for the moment.
Okay.
I don't really care about winning or losing. It's just more of showing that I'm betting, and you know what I mean, playing the part.
Yeah. You get a receipt sent to your comlink, so that if they win, whenever they happen to win, you can come back in and redeem it.
Sweet.
There's maybe a dozen people in here that are watching the match, and maybe a little fewer than that don't seem interested at all. Just there because it's the place they normally go to type thing.
Right.
Nobody seems to be causing problems with the Desert Wars fans, though, or vice versa, at the moment.
Yeah, just basically the occasional rowdy argument, but nothing vicious, nothing is violent kind of thing, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
And no one bothers anybody else. Okay, gotcha.
Right.
Okay. Well, all right. Well, after, to see, what time of day is it?
It's evening now.
Yeah, after a bit of the bar, not too long, we'll watch a match or two, and then we'll wait, you said these matches are violent, aren't they?
Yes.
Is it violent enough to trigger one of my flashbacks? I hope not.
They don't use the matches?
Yeah.
It's, people on mercenary teams, like, using non-lethal ammunition trying to accomplish a goal.
Okay. It's only the final one that gets pretty violent then, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It gets lethal anyway. But that's the match. That's not necessarily the fans.
No, yeah, I understand that. I'm just watching it on the trid. Would that trigger it? That's what I'm asking. On the screen.
Oh, I don't see why it would.
Okay. Just checking. Just making sure. Right, didn't want to have a flashback in the middle of the bar. That might turn out badly. All right, moving on then. We'll leave.
Flashbacks are more in-person things.
Yeah, I was just making sure. Then we'll go out and we'll see if we can't. We'll find a more local fair place to eat, and I'll keep an eye out to see if this guy's still following us.
Are you going to try to leave unobserved?
No, not at all. I'd rather let's play this up. Yeah, let's play this up.
All right. So if you make no effort to hide when you leave, then he does stick with you, and you've already made the perception to notice him, so you do notice him.
Solomon, do you got any info on this guy?
Not at the moment.
I wonder who he works for. We'll just go eat, and then we'll see how long he sticks. The question is, when did I notice him? Was it shortly after we had left the hotel?
Yes.
Or left the house? So it's a
you guys
good
were
bet he knows
further
that
down the road, but yeah, it was on your way probably about 10-20 minutes after you left the house.
Okay.
All right. Elle is studying maps.
Oh, I'll send a message to Elle in case she wants me to pick her up any food.
Her?
Sorry, my bad.
Elle, the masculine, not La, the feminine.
It's
Yeah,
short for
gotcha.
Sheldon. It's short for Sheldon.
Yeah. I got it.
Fits in well in the Italian culture.
So is there anything in particular that you're trying to gain from the maps?
Not anymore. In this case, just general look for access routes that may not be public, and try to find anything hidden within the maps that might be purposefully concealed. Like if it looks like they're fudging something on public maps that aren't quite matching up with the ancient reconstructions.
No, everything in that regard seems accurate. It doesn't look like anybody has taken new maps and drawn something inaccurately where it's not at, type of thing. From what you can tell, the erosion of time will support most of the topographical changes that have happened since then. Most of the large hills are still hills. Now it's not like there was huge feature changes of the landscape around it.
But there doesn't seem to be any purposeful revisions.
No. In the current maps, there are designated historical landmark type things. The amphitheater is one of them, and there are a few others scattered around town, and most of them match up with the older map that you have. The one that's hand-drawn, I mean, the hand-drawn one might be slightly out of scale in some cases, or it may be referring to a different building in some cases that wasn't there at the time or wasn't drawn there at the time type of thing. But nothing seems like it's a purposeful deception or a purposeful inaccuracy.
Okay. Then in that case, lay out some possible... do I think there's like a large amount of passable underground access points, or is it mostly going to be things like we're gonna have to dig into some guy's basement to have access to this site, and then we're gonna have to go all the way across town to dig under this site? I mean, or is there like connections underground that look like they might be something that we can make use of?
Some of them may tap into sewage access. Some of the historical sites may have underground access as well.
Okay. Then in that case, I'm going to spend most of my time laying out potential areas of interest, and also correlate it with the current maps of the above ground areas to lay out potential issues. Like if we're going to be looking into a site that's right next door to a police station, I want to know about it ahead of time.
Okay. You can be working on that. Who had a task for Solomon? Solomon was looking into anybody that was trying to push revisions, right?
Yeah, that was Arca's task.
So after several hours, Adranus, you get a file sent to your comlink.
Opening the file.
It is basically a brief report on anybody that's trying to make revisions to the landscape type of thing, right? That's what you're looking for?
For the most part. I thought somebody might try to use a cover of like a restoration or a historical society or something of that nature to try to slide in under the radar looking for this artifact.
Give me a logic plus intuition roll. Are you happy with that level of success?
Wasn't sure if I could edge it, so no. So I'll reroll.
What'd you get? 3 on that one? Okay. You can reroll failures.
So that's 3 more, so 6 total.
6. You can skim through a lot of the reports and articles that have been put up. There's not a whole lot of people that are trying to push through restorations or whatever, but you get that there is a historical preservation society in town that seems to fight a lot of restoration projects. So different city managers and stuff like that have tried to either restore some of the older sites or do construction on the older sites to help improve them and things like that. And a lot of them do have good reasoning for it. Some of them are not safe for public, for tourist visitation or anything like that, and some reinforcing of the structure could help and stuff like that. But there is a preservation society that seems to fight that, and they fight it very well.
Well, that's interesting. And is this, if I bring up the map of my hypothetical tunnels and whatnot, does this site look like it's on a similar track or near it?
No, they don't seem to match any of the projected tunnels that may be there if they were based on the Roman Colosseum.
Well, that's kind of disappointing, but I'll make a note of it just so. Did Solomon find anything out about him other than what he sent in the file, or is he still digging?
No, that's all he's found so far. All right, Marigold.
Yes.
He leads you.
Oh, right. What's this guy's name? She will ask for that.
There are those who call me Tim.
You can call me Harua.
Alright, you're gonna have to take it easy on me, because I got a Westerner's tongue.
That is fine. And you are?
Call me Marigold. Like the flower.
Ah, lovely name. He leads you, down main streets. He doesn't take a lot of the smaller side streets or whatever. He doesn't seem to be, like, going around in circles to try to confuse you as to where you're going. He's pretty much straight paths. He seems to be leading you kind of to the northwest area of town. Not too far from some of the olive groves. He leads you to what looks like a fenced-off building that is mostly collapsed. This building here, we think at one point it may have been a storeroom of some sort. There isn't much evidence to its purpose other than space, so that's why we think storeroom. But inside there is a lower level that has been exposed. There are some tunnels underneath there. It is not the safest place.
No, I'm not the safest person. And I don't think you are either.
Wait for those birds to go by. That is a fair assessment. But it is rumored that spirits protect that place.
I ain't afraid of ghosts. What about you?
I tried to avoid them on general principle.
How curious is Marigold? Does she want to go under there tonight? Just for me. Okay. So,
He seems to be watching you.
she considers it. Looks back at him. So, nobody's made use of these tunnels?
Spirits protect the area.
Alright, that's what you said. But so what? They only, like, care about the tunnels?
That is the rumor.
Because I don't know many, or I don't know any spirits, but that seems weird. Actually, let me go ahead and make an Arcana roll. She started learning about magic recently. Oh, I got a hit! Holy shit!
It does seem weird.
Okay.
I mean, unless somebody specifically tasked a spirit to guard a tunnel.
She would have no clue if that's possible. In the long term. Okay. So you're saying if I want a closer look, I'm going by myself, right?
Well, I didn't say that.
Alright. What are we waiting for then?
Kind of glances off to the side and upward slightly, and you can follow his line of vision to a series of trees that are branching out far enough that their limbs kind of are close enough to go from tree to tree. And several trees down along that line, there happens to be a building with a low roof that is high enough to get to the trees.
They just make it easy, don't they?
No, I don't think anybody tried to make it easy, but things happen.
So what are we waiting for?
I don't know. He turns and starts walking towards that other building.
Yep.
Behind it, it's like in a small alleyway.
Mm.
It's dark by now. There's not many people around. He kind of looks both ways and then interlocks his fingers together and then puts
and the
them
gentleman,
down.
too. You know, she'll take the assist up.
It's an easy climb, and it's not so high that he can't like leap up and get his hands on the rim of the roof and pull himself up either, which he does very gracefully. Not so much that he's not leaving a track like you do. You know, his feet actually scuff when he walks across to the other edge. But he definitely moves more quietly than most random people.
So, augments or magic. Got it.
Or just training.
Oh yeah, there's that too.
And he starts to make his way through the trees.
Marigold's not shy about following.
They are, there's a lot more trees in the area. It's not just like a straight line of trees that go from here to there. There's a lot of them that are spaced out, but their limbs reach to the point where you can get quite a ways around here in the trees. And it's a short drop once you get to the other side. And he walks around, he's kind of looking around as though he's never been here before, or he's looking for something in particular.
Mm-hmm.
And he kind of finds a gap into the ruined building, and he steps inside carefully. I think it should be over here somewhere. Do you have night vision? Perhaps you can see better than I.
Let me check her gear real quick. I'm pretty sure she does. Yes. And I also have a flashlight if you need it. It's not like a bright one, but it's
I have a light.
flashlight.
I just don't want to use it above ground.
Fair. Alright, what are we looking for?
With low light, you can find a spot where there is a very conspicuous pile of debris and stuff that looks a lot more solid and intact than it really is.
Okay.
And it can easily be slid aside, and there is a almost look like an old drainage pipe that goes down through a hole in the floor and probably about 10 meters below.
Alright.
Shall I?
Go for it.
He does not slide down the pipe. He actually hand and foot crawls down it, or climbs down it rather.
You said it was how far?
About 10 meters. 30 feet.
Alright.
And he gets to the bottom and kind of steps off, and you see him looking around.
Yeah,
as he
Marigold
kind of
follows.
reaches into a concealed pocket and pulls out a small flashlight. Asura, he follows you back to the house if you eventually go there.
Yeah, he knows we're there, so I don't think there's any reason to lose him going back to the house. I'm trying to make the event as boring as possible for him.
Give me a judge intentions roll.
And 4. Doing good on this.
The few glances that you've gotten, the expression that you get is either that he is not aware that you've noticed him, or he is aware, but it's not important to him that you noticed him.
Makes me tempted just to stare the guy down, but I don't know if it's worth it right now. No, let's go. He clearly followed us from the house, so he knows we're there, so I'm not going to argue that point. Let's go ahead and go into the house.
You lose sight of him probably about half a block away from the house. Almost like when it's obvious that that's where you're going, he doesn't follow you to make sure you go there.
Okay. I don't know what the intention is.
And let's call it there with a brief... in these tunnels, it is clear that people have used them, not necessarily recently, but there are places that are not natural. They've been dug purposefully. Some of them have been dug more recently than the originals, and more crudely than the originals. But you guys spend a couple hours there, and they don't really seem to go anywhere. Most of them end.
Sorry, I forgot my mic was muted.
Okay. Most of the tunnels that branch out end in places that look like they were once used to smuggle or hide things, but they don't go any further. Others look like they have collapsed, and not recently, so they've actually been collapsed for a while. But after a couple hours of going around here, it's pretty clear that there's not a whole lot else down here.
Okay, so this one's basically just nothing but dead ends and cave-ins, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And no spirits.
And no spirits. That we know of.
That you know of. Because you can't astrally perceive to see the one possessed. No.
Oh, that would be a thing. So, when they're finished, Marigold does actually give him her comm number as promised.
He exchanges his I should take note of his name so I don't forget it. Let's go with 4 karma for the night.
Woot.
The Topps Company Inc. has sole ownership of the names, logos, artwork, marks, photographs, sounds, audio, video, and/or any proprietary material used in connection with the game Shadowrun. The Topps Company Inc. has given permission to Relative Dimension to use such names, logos, artwork, marks, and/or any proprietary materials for promotional and informational purposes on its website, but does not endorse and is not affiliated with Relative Dimension in any official capacity whatsoever. Relative Dimension is licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial 4.0 International License. You can share us, but please give us credit.
The intro is church music from Sirenscape.
The outro is Double Cross, off the Shadowrun Return soundtrack, used with permission from Harebrained Schemes. And thank you to Sirenscape for the additional music and sound effects. You can find more information at sirenscape.com. If you would like to get in touch with the Relative Dimension, you can visit our website at relativedimension.com. You can contact us, email, at podcast@relativedimension.com. You can visit our Facebook at facebook.com/relativedimensionpodcast. You can check us out on Twitter at RelativeDpod. You can check out our Patreon if you wish to support us at patreon.com/relativedimension.